Shalom Akim, Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahushai Ba'Shem Akakadash, Tabanos and salutations to the elders and apostle group, Mr. Rule well. This is Brad Benash again with another update. Yeah, so you know how it is in Babylon, man. Cronyism's always always coming up. Yeah, so it's no surprise, you're always gonna have these so-called governors and senators being exposed. Yeah, because when people feel the hurt, there's always an issue, okay, that they have to look into. Okay, they have to understand why they're having difficulties. So you know how it is, man. When these big businesses are able to qualify for all these government handouts and loans and all that stuff, everybody else that's not getting it on time or not even getting it, asking why is it so. So then you realize it's just bunch of corrupt individuals and networks that are basically washing each other's hand. They're watching each other's backs. Yeah, so cronyism, nepotism, and all that stuff is all one rigged show, and it just shows you that there's so much corruption in the system and preferential treatment. There's no such thing as all men are created equal, according to Esau's declarations, man. Because you could see the results. It's all a bunch of tyrants and thugs, holding the system, together to oppress the poor and needy. Yeah, so it's so easy to see that America is basically coming apart. It's reached its height of corruption, and it's not done yet until the Lord pulls the plug very soon. All right, so let me just play this clip real quick and then get the precepts.
The ABC 7 News I-Team revealed 9 companies, part of the Plumpjack Group founded by Governor Newsom, received millions in funding through the Paycheck Protection Program. The intent of the federal program was to keep small businesses afloat during the pandemic.
New data released by the SBA and analyzed by ABC 7 News indicates Plumpjack businesses, including wineries, bars, and restaurants, 8 of which are partially owned by Governor Newsom, received nearly $3 million in PPP loans. Good evening, I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Ahmed Dates. We want to remind those of you just joining us, in 2018, Newsom placed his ownership interest in the Plumpjack Group into a blind trust. This means he would have no knowledge or role in the company's business decisions made during his time in office.
And tonight we've heard from hundreds of you responding to the story, many of whom are small business owners who struggle to get access to this PPP money.
Yeah, ABC 7 News I-Team reporter Stephanie Sierra joins us live to share this new reaction to our investigation. Stephanie.
Yes, Amma and Dan, over the course of the past 24 hours, we've heard from dozens of small business owners who shared their experiences struggling to get access to this money. It gives us a closer look at who had the resources to put forth the best loan application and those who didn't.
Seems like a lot of the large companies were being taken care of by the banks first, and the small guys like me were kind of left on the sidelines.
Joe Field is the owner of a Concord-based comic book store called Flying Colors Comics. We followed his journey to get a PPP loan since the federal lending program first opened on April 3rd. Field applied that day, but struggled to get money for months. ABC 7's data analysis found one of the Plumpjack businesses, Villa Encinal Partners LP, that received more than $918,000, got their loan approved on April 14th. That's 11 days after the lending program launched. It took Field 90 days to get his $40,000 loan approved.
Yep, so that's how, the ESOL system is, man. The big boys, they get to eat first while everybody else, have to wait in line. And, the so-called news station, they really have to cover it, because they don't really cover the big major news. They don't cover the big stuff. Small stuff like this is what the so-called investigative reporters and all these freelance journalists cover. So they just put this news out there to, to fill in the gaps. Just leave the small stuff. That's how the news organizations are, man. They're just a bunch of organizations to put in fillers, to fill in the blanks when they don't have nothing else to do. This is small potatoes. The big stuff they're not really going to cover in depth. All right. So a precept I would like to read would be from the book of let's see. All right, I'm going to read from the additions to Esther. It's going to be in verse 11 because the Lord is just bringing all these things to light. Okay, so it says, "Thou art Lord of all things, and there is no man that can resist thee, which art the Lord." Yep. So they can't, you know, upset the prophets of the Lord. Whatever is done in the dark shall come to light. And then verse 12 it says, "Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest, Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor for any desire of glory, that I did not bow down to proud Amen." Yeah, so this is the prayer, of Mordecai, telling, the truth. Yeah, so it's all in the Lord's hands. The Lord's gonna expose them one way or another. Okay, so precept I would like to bring out, it's from the book of Sirach. All right, Sirach chapter 40. All right, verse 12. All right, when you read verse 12 and 13, it tells you, "All bribery and injustice shall be blotted out, but true dealing shall endure forever." Okay, so the system of corruption and bribery is about to come to an end, and we're looking forward to a kingdom that reigns in righteousness, where folks won't have to wait, forever, wait a long time, you know, to receive sustenance, right? Because the system of Esau is basically a system of nepotism, and the bigger, the bigger you are, the more, favor is shown to you. The Lord is not about the respect of persons. Okay, so verse 13 says, "The goods of the unjust shall be dried up like a river, and shall vanish with noise like a great thunder in rain." So when the destruction is coming upon America, all the wealth and all the assets and riches of these so-called strong men and rich men, or whatever they want to call themselves, is going down the bunkers. It's going down the drain. All right. So don't be surprised when you hear more news about all these hustling tactics, man. Cronyism. It's not nothing new. It's not one party that does it. It's both parties. Whoever gets into government in a key position, they're always looking out for their so-called donors and fundraisers and their staff members. That's why there's so much of I say that revolving door between the so-called public sector and all these private companies. Why? Because they have to steer the government in a direction they could make profit of. That's why these companies are able to stay rich and get government contracts at different levels, whether it's from the federal all the way down to the local and even internationally. So it's all a game. It's all about a club of the rich, making sure that the money flows in that direction. Okay, and that they have to control it. They have to control the supply, and they have to control the flow. And that's how it goes. Control the direction. And how it is. Restrictions and all that stuff. So that's just the point that I can. Don't be surprised if you start hearing more about cronyism and corruption in these last days with all these so-called government officials. when it even comes to the vaccine, you start hearing about kickbacks and all that stuff. All right, Shalom.